Security forces are now carrying out intelligence-based search operations at suspected locations where terrorists could be hiding after they launched an attack at the Baramulla garrison. The terrorists reportedly crossed the Jhelum river, an empty field, and attacked the battalion headquarters of the 46th Battalion of the Rashtriya Rifles. They attacked a BSF picket. This brave BSF constable Nitin, he came out of his picket and challenged the terrorists, opened fire. The terrorist lobbed a grenade. He was injured grievously with splinter injuries. He was rushed to hospital where he unfortunately passed away. The army opened fire at the two terrorists using light machine guns. The BSF also opened fire at the terrorists. The terrorists fled that place. They have reportedly left behind one global positioning system, an AK-47 assault rifle magazine and one compass. While army says that some terrorists were injured, there were no dead bodies that have still been recovered. India Today's Ankit Tyagi now joins me from ground zero. Ankit, what is the army saying about why, while they were successful in foiling the bid, why wasn't a single terrorist killed? What happened? The encounter reportedly lasted over an hour. I will try and reestablish that line with Ankit Tyagi in just a moment. I also have India Today's Ashwini Kumar, who joins us south of Pir Panjal. There's been firing from the Pakistani side. Ceasefire has been violated. Ashwini, there is tension all along Jammu to Pir Panjal. Pakistan once again violated ceasefire. Is it just small arms or has it escalated to mortars? What's the army doing?
Yeah, Gaurav, Pakistani troops again violated the ceasefire violation in the Shahpur Kerni area of line of control in Poonch area, and they are firing 81 mortars on the civilians and our post, and India retaliating in a big way the same power. Pakistanis are also using small arm fire on our post, and till now there is no loss of life or injury to our side, but there is shelling and firing still continuing. We have talked to some of the people on phone to the Sherpur Kerni. They said there is a continuously unprovoked firing and shelling from the Pakistani side, and they are firing in some fields of the local area. Yeah.
Okay, so locals had already been evacuated. There was some information about heightened movement across the line of control south of Pir Panjal. Is this movement of terrorists? Is this movement of Pakistan Army regulars?
Yes, there are intelligence reports that some of the terrorists they are on the launching pad in the Sisodia area and this Shahpur Kerni area, and yesterday also one of the Pakistani guide has been arrested in Sisodia area, and they are being interrogated. They wanted to see our locations and our movement on the line of control, and there are already some Pakistani movement is there, and Pakistani additional forces has been put on alert on as a precautionary measure, because they are afraid that there may be more surgical operation from the Indian side. That is the reason that Pakistan has deployed more army troops on the line of control. But the yesterday arrested Pakistani guide will give more information about the Pakistani movements across the border. Yeah.
Okay. Now, there is also information, Ashwini, that apparently some villages south of Pir Panjal have been evacuated. Are these isolated villages? Is this across a wide area? What more can you tell us?
Yes, on the line of control, basically there is a continuously the threat perception is a civilian area. So the civil administration, the army has already given them advisory that they should shift from those who are staying in front of the fencing area. They should come out from that area and they should go settle down with the villagers or the government has also formed some of the camps there in Poonch area, also local area, so that they can be saved there. And most of the areas has been cleared by the administration, and because there are chances that this escalation can increase during daytime or the night. And normally the shelling and firing start at the midnight, but today the Pakistani fired mortar shells in Shahpur Kern area. It shows that their intentions are not good, and they want to target the civil area, so that the administration has to take action against them. Yeah.
Okay. Ashwini, for the moment, many thanks for joining me. Now, there has been a terror attack last night. BSF is telling India today that they've been successful in foiling this terror attack. But there's another aspect to this. The terrorists managed to escape. Why is that? Because if these terrorists have escaped, there is a likelihood that they could regroup and attack another location, which is what the intelligence input was. Let's listen in to lots of reactions that are coming in from MOS Home Kiran Rijiju, also DIG Northern Range in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's listen in.
Theatre where the high level of alertness are always maintained, but obviously from last few days, last few weeks, general high level of alert is being maintained, and that is how we have been able to counter this.
डिटेल आने दीजिए. देखिए अभी ऑपरेशन वो सारा क्लियरिंग जो करना है पूरा चीज होने दीजिए. ऐसे अभी ऐसे ठीक नहीं. Security forces are capable of dealing with any situation.
Sir, one BSF Jawan has been martyred.
This is unfortunate, but our forces are capable of doing everything.
It's a 46 RR battalion headquarters, and inside the battalion headquarters we have a BSF company inside, which is normally deployed on ROP duty. However, since they are accommodated inside, so they are also manning 4 mortars, bunkers along the Jhelum River.
Okay.
At around 10:30, these militants taking advantage of darkness and right on the bank of river, they come near to the mortar, which is hardly 20 to 30 yards from the river.
Okay.
And the sentry somehow he got to know about the movement, and when he couldn't see from inside the mortar, he came out of the mortar and just switch on his light, and after switching on light he could see some movement, although they were inside the dead ground, but he could feel the movement. And when he tried to see more, immediately fire came from riverside.
Okay.
It was hardly 20-30 yards. When the fire came, he immediately rushed to the bunker, and these 2 boys have fired from their LMG. They were having inside LMG, they fired from there, and this fire goes on for a few minutes.
Very good.
Then, anyhow, because militants were in dead ground and they couldn't see their presence there, so
Okay.
one of the guys, he came out of the mortar and he then fired from outside the mortar. In the process, these militants also hurled some grenade from that distance, and one of the grenades, that splinter, he got a groin injury there.
Okay.
And he told his buddy that he got an injury, and the buddy then he took this boy to some distance where he was safe. In the meantime, after this firing started, the 2 army bunkers which were just adjacent to this BSF bunker, they also started firing, and this firing continued around half an hour or so.
So you have it straight from authorities on ground how the BSF succeeded in foiling the terror bid. But considering that the BSF was there, the army was there, they had access to light machine guns, flamethrowers, under-barrel grenade launchers and a lot of other weapons, how could the terrorists escape, and how long before these terrorists are caught and neutralized? We will continue to track that story. Ankit Tyagi is on ground zero. He sent us this report.
We are right at the Kutwara-Uri highway, and this is where the 46 RR camp is situated, where the attack took place yesterday, and still you can see the kind of activity that is being seen here. Rashtriya Rifles are, of course, one of the major counter-insurgency force in India, and we are being allowed right outside this camp here, which came under attack. I'll ask my camera, Salah Joshi, to quickly show you the topography and where exactly this entire sequence took place. Just behind those trees is the Jhelum River, and the suspicion is that the terrorists came from there. They crossed this ground that you see here and tried to sneak in through this gate inside. The Echo Charlie company of the BSF is also placed here, and at about 10:20 the first shot was heard at this camp. After that there was a fierce gun battle until 1:15. The gun battle continued. In fact, one group of the terrorists, a buddy pair, was shooting from here, trying to make their way inside. They also lobbed a few grenades. On the other side was another group of terrorists, those who kept firing, kept trying to engage the security forces.
So Ankit Tyagi, they're giving you a lay of the land and how these terrorists managed to come close. But Ankit, it's brilliant as far as the security forces are concerned, because there was intelligence input that terrorists could strike at an army or any security forces location after that surgical strike. This bid was foiled, but is the army being able to explain, or the BSF or the state police, how could terrorists engage the security forces for an hour plus and yet escape?
Well, that is the brainstorming, Gaurav, that is going on right now. What we have been told is that the local commanders of the BSF and the company commander of the Rashtriya Rifles, they are in fact, along with the local police, are going through what exactly happened and how and where could these people have vanished. But let me also, tell you, it was pitch dark. The area that you see, there are apple orchards all around, and plus there is the river. The important thing here to note, Gaurav, is that the river right now is very shallow. There is not much water, and what the security forces believe is that these are some local sleeper cells that have been activated. They may or may not be people from across the border. Even if they were led by people from across the border, they are local sleeper cells because they exactly knew, the topography. They came, they fired from two places, tried to create that diversion, and then they tried to retreat in the dark. In the process, they have left two wire cutters. They have also left a compass and empty magazines of AK-47. That is what the security forces are telling us. They also believe that at least one of the terrorists was injured and he jumped into Jhelum. And since early morning, right from the daybreak, there were in fact boat patrols and other combing operations that took place all along the Jhelum. So the fear is that since Uri, Gaurav, you also know this area better. Uri is about 46 kilometers. About 10 kilometers from there is the LC. So about 50-55 kilometers is the LC from this place. So it's not that people have just sneaked in 1 or 2 kilometers like they did in the Uri attack. So
yes,
the entire operation is focused on finding the local support and where they could have vanished, because these seems to be the handiwork of the local sleeper cells.
India Today now gets you the inside track of what happened at Baramulla late last night. Managing editor Rahul Kamal has been speaking to his sources in the Northern Command and on ground. Rahul, take us through what happened at Baramulla. The BSF says this was a terror bid that was foiled. Why were no terrorists killed, Rahul?
Gaurav, let's give our viewers a sense of what transpired at the Baramulla Rashtriya Rifle camp. Remember, this is a camp where the BSF is co-located with the Rashtriya Rifles. At 10:20 p.m., a group of terrorists crossed the Jhelum River that's behind this army camp. Now, the number of terrorists isn't known for certain. There are conflicting versions. At 10:25, at the BSF picket, apparently there were 4 BSF pickets. One of these BSF pickets noticed suspicious movement. That's when the BSF Jawans turned their torchlights on. The terrorists were alarmed by the fact that they'd been spotted. At 10:30 p.m., 2 terrorists opened fire at the BSF picket at this Baramulla camp. After which, for several minutes, there was a fierce exchange of fire that went on for several minutes. And at 10:35, terrorists hurled a grenade at this picket. In this grenade attack, Constable Nitin sustained injuries in his thigh. One Jawan rushed in to try and evacuate him to safety. They went into a bunker at 10:50. Constable Nitin was rushed to the Baramulla hospital. There's an army hospital. He was rushed over there. 10:55. Army rushed in. Reinforcements, the mine-protected vehicles were sent in by the Indian Army. At 11 p.m., the Army's light machine gun posts opened fire on these terrorists. That's when we're told that some of these terrorists could have escaped. Now, how they escaped isn't known for sure. But they could have swam across the river and escaped. Terrorists opened fire at the 46 RR picket. So it's not certain, Gaurav. You have a couple of very interesting questions. Then there's a period of lull all through the night. 5 a.m. the search and combing operations are carried out around the RR camp. At 7 a.m. one GPS, one AK-47 magazine, one compass are recovered from this attack site. At 8 a.m. the search operations are called off in Baramulla. Now you have a couple of very good questions, Gaurav. One, where are the bodies? Frankly, nobody at this time seems to know. The hunt is still on. Two things could have happened. One, the terrorists could have possibly flung the bodies into the river right behind the camp. An attempt is being made to try and find the body. It's also possible that because the BSF retaliated so strongly when the terrorists were trying to sneak in, that the terrorists actually ran away. There's a lot of undergrowth right around the river, and you've spent so much time in Kashmir, Gaurav. You realize fully well how much undergrowth there is. It's very easy to stay hidden in that undergrowth and to try and make an exit. So those are some of the possibilities. What happened ultimately is not known. It happened in the pitch of darkness, and therefore no 100% authoritative account available on where these terrorists went. What this essentially also means is that there could be a group of terrorists on the out in the large, out somewhere in the Baramulla area. And right now an attempt being made by special forces, by the army, by the Rashtra Rifles, also by the BSF deployed there to neutralize these terrorists at the earliest possible.